Let's talk about this with my experts. I want to bring in Major Garrett, who's on loan from CBS for us because he's promoting his new book, Mr. Trump's Wild Ride, about covering the Trump presidency. Major, we just got some new sound from this exclusive interview that Brett Kavanaugh and his wife did with Fox News. Let's roll that clip.
Ever look at each other and say, I'm out. This is enough. Just isn't worth it.
I'm not going to let false accusations drive us out of this process, and we're looking for a fair process where I can be heard and defend my integrity, my lifelong record of promoting dignity and equality for women, starting with the women who knew me when I was 14 years old. I'm not going anywhere.
Seem to be getting a little upset there. Major, your reaction?
This is an odd tactic. It's kind of a pre-buttal to his own testimony before the Judiciary Committee. It gives those who support him cause for celebration that he's fighting back, quote unquote. But those who are curious about his deportment, his demeanor, his orientation to these underlying questions are also going to have fodder that they can pick at and discuss. And it will change the atmospherics before this Thursday Judiciary Committee hearing. They were willing to risk changing the atmospherics to begin to get their pushback out there. And to do that by themselves as a nominated Supreme Court justice is we say this word a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm always cautious about using it because sometimes we overuse it in our trade. But I've never seen this before. It is clearly unprecedented.
No, we talked with our Supreme Court reporter, Joan Biskupic, who says that Clarence Thomas did an interview with People magazine after his confirmation hearing, after he was confirmed, but this is the first time we've ever seen anything like this.
It's unheard of. And so this signals to me that Judge Kavanaugh thinks he's in trouble. And he thinks he's in so much trouble that it is in his best interest to go out there with a pre-buttal before the American people, or at least the Fox News viewers, okay, and try to make his case. I think it's telling that Dr. Ford has not run to the cameras. She's not running to the camera. She's not necessarily she's not running to People magazine, Variety, Vanity Fair, whoever. She is waiting to get her day at the hearing because her only incentive in coming forward is to tell the truth. And so frankly, this makes Judge Kavanaugh look real iffy, if you ask me. I don't think this was a sound strategy.
Well, let me actually agree with Simone in the sense that I think the White House is concerned. Look, this is a PR event.
Yeah.
We're not going to find the truth about the allegation. We're going to hear two different sides. I think what they're trying to do, and I agree with you, this is unprecedented, this is very unusual, is to humanize him. Show that he is an honest person, that he doesn't have the personality of a sex abuser. But again,
that his wife is willing to stand by him in an interview?
To stand by him, exactly. I mean, again, this is not a court of law. What we're going to see is a PR strategy from both sides. And we're going to have to see Thursday what happens.
But I'd like to know, we haven't seen the PR strategy from Dr. Ford. She has only come forward to tell her story, to tell the truth.
But
we have seen Judge Kavanaugh
I don't
pontificate on Fox News because
Simone,
he's in trouble.
I don't question Dr. Ford. Yeah. I question the people around her that are manipulating her.
So
for political purposes.
I want to change the subject, if I can, to Rod Rosenstein and this big important meeting that he's going to have with President Trump on Thursday, where he and potentially the Russia investigation, the fates of both of them hang in the balance. You have some new reporting.
Well, there's been so much confusion over why would Rod Rosenstein offer his resignation? Did he? What was the confusion going back and forth on that? We're learning a little bit more behind the reasoning of that, and that's because Rod Rosenstein was under the impression that President Trump was going to be a lot angrier about that New York Times story that said he suggested secretly recording the president and discussed invoking the 25th Amendment to get him out of office. Now, Rod Rosenstein thought when that story dropped, which they had a heads up on, obviously, because they reached out for comment, that President Trump was going to be really angry, that he was going to be fired by President Trump. That is why, in part, that he offered his resignation to the Chief of Staff, John Kelly, on Friday. And we've had that, continuing drama over what his status was today. President Trump was angry about it. He was skeptical of it, though, because the reporting came from Andrew McCabe in those memos. And he asked people in the hours after, should I just fire him? What should I do? But he wasn't as angry with it as people thought. He was much more preoccupied with the Kavanaugh drama this weekend than he was with Rod Rosenstein.
For a good reason. President Trump prioritizes the fate of the Supreme Court and its attachment to his legacy over almost everything else in domestic politics, especially now. He also feared, as I heard over the weekend, that he was being set up, that this New York Times story was meant to create
Hannity was saying that to
a
him,
volcanic reaction and get him to do something that would be damaging to him politically in the short term and potentially the long term. And there were parts of that story, to me, based on my reporting, that didn't add up either. If you're going to talk about the 25th Amendment, you don't take that to Jeff Sessions and John Kelly at DHS. Those are the two least likely allies you're going to have with that. That didn't add up. The president thought maybe this was something working him in a direction that would be injurious.
All right, Major Garrett, again, the book is Mr. Trump's Wild Ride. Go catch it.